What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review, doing DeathBed number 3. And this series has been really interesting. It's very different. It's very introspectal. Introspectful? Yeah. The gist of it is Luna is this guy. He is like this great adventurer who has had all of these, like, he's pretty much, I would think, like the world's most interesting man. But he has enemies all over the place. And one of them is trying to kill all of his friends and loved one, anyone who's ever known him, to pretty much make sure that he is never remembered. To kind of combat that, he has hired a writer to write his biography and write kind of like his last adventure. And he wants essentially to die at the hands of one of his enemies in battle, kind of like this great warrior's death. So at the end, and each issue is really like has like to me like a subject, and it has like an introspective look on on the human condition of like kind of the selfishness of people and how that selfishness kind of can affect others around them. Like last issue was he went to the funeral of this woman he claimed to love and knew and this and that, but like it turned out he only knew her for like 8 days. And so he was telling this like really like like over the top story about them together and like love making and this and that. And like her daughter was like, look, you obviously didn't know my mom at all. Like my mom did this well after she ever even, after she met you and decided to forget about you. And it was really, again, a good look on kind of how us as people move in and out of other people's lives, but you may be affecting this person's life for like 10 years, and then you may be out of their life, but their life continues on. So this is kind of continues in that vein. Luna, it goes to explain, they were Luna and his author Val were kidnapped at the end of the last issue, but it turns out they were kidnapped by a cult that Luna started, the Church of Luna. And this is how it starts. Back in the 70s, a lot of drugs and trippiness. And so he kind of like at one of these like, drug-filled orgies, which, gotta censor these pages, a lot of activity on them. But at one of these like orgies, he's kind of like, oh man, like the earth's hollow, man. Like it's all like, he's like, man stepped foot on the moon, but did he ever really feel the moon in his feet? And like everyone's like, oh my gosh, like you're so amazing. And it turns out then that like he became, they were all listening to him. And so it kind of starts out and he's like, remember, you are what you eat, my children. I kind of imagine like Matthew McConaughey at this point, like, oh man, like so trippy, But that doesn't mean, just what you shove in your mouth. It's information you consume, the knowledge in your mind. So he's like kind of like telling these hippies, and they're all like just eating it up. Again, I gotta kind of be careful of the pages. You know what? We'll just stay on this page as I go through my review. But it turns out that this cult that he started and then kind of disbanded continued on, and in his ideology, like of not being there to constantly reinforce or maybe critique and change the ideology that he put forth became perverse, and it became you are what you eat, and not just the knowledge, but like the company you keep, and then it became the company you keep is the company you eat. And it turns out that they now are a cult of cannibals who like There's been plenty of movies out there that kind of have this trope where it's like or in cultures where it's like you ingest something and you gain its power. So they kidnap him, and they're to them he is like their god. So they're like, we're gonna consume you and gain like your power and this and that. And it really does kind of he becomes heartbroken because at first he was so happy to see that something he had built had become so beautiful, but then as the story continues, what he built became again kind of perverse and broken and became something that he didn't like. And so it's again a very inside look at like, hey, not everything that you build becomes what you want it, but also you can't abandon you know you can't abandon these people because again on their own they've formed their own ideas and own kind of versions of what maybe you put forth. And again, in the end, it's a very trippy, very surreal, very graphic book. I can highly recommend it. Joshua Williamson, who's doing the Flash run, is putting this out. It's 6 issues. This is issue 3, so we're halfway through. If you're not going to read this, I stress this. Pick this up on paper, trade paper. It is great. But that's my thoughts on that. Subscribe over here. Watch some more videos. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you next time.